Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the February 2nd edition of Carolina Week, what the location for the 2012 Democratic Convention means to you.
We'll introduce you to another student body president hopeful.
In sports, the men's basketball team continues to roll, and the football team welcomes a new class.
Weathercaster Drew Day will tell us how long we can expect these spring-like temperatures to stick around.
All that and a late-night contest that had students rocking out. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
One of the nation's biggest gatherings of politicians, political junkies, and journalists is coming to our state. Good evening, I'm Andrea Lutka.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thank you for joining us. The 2012 Democratic National Convention will be in Charlotte in September of next year. So what does that mean for us? The director of the Center for Southern Politics, Farrell Guillory, spoke with us earlier to answer that question. Professor Guillory joins us now. Professor Guillory, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate
Well, obviously, this is great news for the region, but I have a question. I think everyone is wondering, why do you think the Democrats chose this region?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. One is President Obama carried North Carolina in 2008, and so this is a signal that he's going to make it a competitive state again. And I think also, it's a kind of a coming of age, a normalization of relations politically between the South and the rest of the country. The Republicans are going to Tampa, Florida, and the Democrats are going to Charlotte, North Carolina, both new South kind of cities.
That makes sense. Huge economic impact for Charlotte. Can we expect any impact here in the Triangle?
Well, there may be. People will be traveling. There'll be reporters in and out and doing feature stories and the kind of preliminary commentary that goes into a convention. And there may be some job opportunities there, in the service industry, and a convention is a big enterprise, so they'll be looking for people to staff it.
Okay, and finally, what does this mean for college students and this region politically?
Well, hopefully it'll mean some excitement. I think it's important that university students understand how our democracy works, and a political convention is a huge kind of civic liturgy in democracy. And so I think there'll be opportunities for students to attend some of the events, maybe do a little work, some for pay, some volunteer. Hopefully they'll get engaged in the political parties and be active in the election.
Well, that's great. I know we're all very excited to have this. Thank you so much. That's Professor Farrell Guillory.
Thank you.
Well, the unrest in the streets in Egypt continues, even though President Hosni Mubarak says he won't run for re-election. We have an update for you this evening about two UNC juniors who are studying abroad in Egypt. Asian Studies major Virginia Sparks and political science major Kelsey Jost Cregan are safe and on their way home to the U.S. this evening after a tumultuous couple of weeks in Egypt. Friends and others close to Sparks report that they've been in contact with her and say she's safe tonight in Istanbul, Turkey. She's waiting for a flight home, and they expect her to return in a few days. Jost Cregan is also safe and bound for the U.S. She caught a flight out of the country yesterday. And she's known to paint up for a basketball game and dance for kids at Fetzer Gym. Brooklyn Stevens is a psychology and sociology double major from Wake Forest and is one of the 4 candidates running for student body president. Carly Stevenson has more about the SBP hopeful.
Brooklyn Stevens has been waiting for all this cheering and campaigning.
Over break, it hit me that I was the best person for this job, and I thought I could really serve the students well with my diverse experiences here.
As one of 4 of the student body presidential candidates, Stevens says her passion for diversity is what makes her platform stand out.
Really focusing on the diversity issues and making sure that voices that aren't normally heard in student government are heard.
The arts and academics are 2 focuses of the campaign, as is working with academic advising to perfect Connect Carolina.
They're in the works, of trying to come up with a grad system. So helping them come up with a system where we can see where we're at in graduation standards.
Brooklyn Stevens wants to extend dining hours during the weekend, which means you could get that sandwich you've been craving. And how does she plan to serve the students if she's elected?
I think that I would influence the Carolina community by being an approachable face for student government, as well as promoting a lot of inclusion and no exclusion of different groups on campus.
When Brooklyn isn't busy campaigning, she has a few tricks up her sleeve.
And I used to barrel race in high school, which is a rodeo sport. And it's really high adrenaline, gets you going.
This week, it's about a different kind of event. And the race is on. In Chapel Hill, I'm Carly Stevenson, Carolina Week.
To view the full interview with student body presidential candidate Brooklyn Stevens, go to carolinaweek.org.
Members of the UNC Young Democrats think Rick Ingram is the best choice for student body president. At a forum Monday night, all 4 candidates had a chance to answer questions about topics ranging from social issues to budget cuts. Each candidate stressed the importance of working with local leaders and state legislators and giving the student body a voice. Audience members also had a chance to ask questions. Members of the organization voted by ballot after the forum to decide their endorsement choice. More than 3,000 students with ties to the group will receive emails urging them to support the program. And here's a shocker. The college Republicans have a different opinion about who would be the best leader of the student body. The forum at Haynes Arts Center looked a lot like the Young Democrats forum, with candidates explaining their positions, audience members asking questions, and group members making their preferences known. The big difference between the two groups, the choice of candidate to endorse. The college Republicans are backing Ian Lee. You see him right there. Carolina Week will have live coverage of the returns next Tuesday night from 10 p.m. until midnight.
And it's good news for North Carolina's budget deficit, but some bad news for consumers. The state's most recent sales tax increase might be here to stay. Don't expect too much to change at the register anytime soon. It appears we don't have that video for you right now, but we're going to get that story back in just a moment. There's a 1% sales tax hike in 2009 scheduled to end in July, and it might be extended. The North Carolina General Assembly is struggling to fill a $3.7 billion void in the state's budget, and some lawmakers want to keep the higher tax rate. They argue that maintaining this rate will help reduce the deficit and could help prevent further cuts across the UNC system. We now know why a Chapel Hill restaurant closed its doors a month ago. PT's Old Fashioned Grill closed after there was violence at a Christmas party in December.
Heard about that.
Yeah. Chapel Hill police brought felony assault charges against the restaurant owner, and after hearing about the fight, the landlord decided to make the tenant leave. The landlord is currently looking for another landlord to replace PT's.
It's really terrible to hear that because we all loved PT's so much. But there are some definite pros to the internet.
I'm Lindsay Hawkins. I'll tell you why gossip on campus may be spreading even faster.
Rad! Hey, pal, you want to pay attention to the road?
Relax, man, I got it.
Look, my man, if your bad driving gets me killed, you better hope you die too, or I will haunt you silly. And I'm not just gonna float over your bed like, woo! I'm gonna be making a more annoying noise, like, ah! And instead of wearing those long white robes, I think I'll wear something more form-fitting and upsetting. The other ghosts will look and be like, wow, we've never seen that before.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool, really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately. Because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Well, it's the breeding ground of rumors, gossip, and slander on college campuses. Lindsay Hawkins joins us live in the studio. Lindsay, lots of people are upset about things people post about them on a particular website.
They are, Andrea. On the College Anonymous Confession Board, or College ACB, people can write anything they want. And with just one click of a mouse, they can cause untold damage.
Resident advisor Jillian Reed makes bulletin boards for her hall each month. This month's focus, the dangers of social media, something Reed experienced firsthand after being the subject of a post on the popular gossip website collegeacb.com.
Hurt my feelings to know that someone out there was saying that and that it's available out there for anyone to see.
Every day at more than 500 college campuses across the country, students type away in anonymous online conversations about everything from Greek life to student athletes to other student groups. And Dean of Students Demetrius Brown says anonymity can lead to cyberbullying.
Where people are kind of freewheeling and saying whatever they want without any kind of a sense of accountability.
Anonymity also poses a problem legally. Under the Communications Decency Act of 1996, websites like College ACB aren't responsible for third-party postings. Park Fellow Woodrow Hartzog specializes in internet law. He says the legal process probably wouldn't be worth the effort.
You have to find out who they are, you have to find out how to recover the information, and at the end of the day, if it's someone that doesn't have any money, it's like squeezing blood from a turnip. It's just not going to happen.
Some college campuses, such as the University of Tennessee at Martin, led petition drives to have their schools removed from the site. Dean Brown says UNC has discussed this, but hasn't taken any action.
Someone, I'm going to use an extreme example, someone at Duke were making a negative comment about UNC on their own personal website. We don't go and take those things down either.
But Reed thinks something has to be done to combat cyberbullying.
It's really incredible to me that something like that could exist.
College ACB's owner, Peter Frank, just announced he's selling the website. Frank says the new owners have a goal to raise the site's standards.
Lindsay, will that change the focus of the site? And also, what's the best course of action if your name shows up on the site?
We're not sure yet what these changes mean, but right now, the best thing to do is click the report button beside the post.
That's Lindsay Hawkins live in the studio. Thanks, Lindsay.
Have you ever taken a walk through a cemetery on campus? Well, if not, then members of the Chapel Hill Preservation Society want to make it easy for you. The Society is working to create a digital and searchable map of all the graves in the old Chapel Hill Cemetery. They record the name on each headstone and note if there is damage or repaired cracks like this. The real challenge is locating unmarked graves, but GPS technology helps by creating maps like this on your screen. Each red dot is a potential grave. When complete, the map will be available on the town's website.
A nationally known student-run theater group aims to bring unity to the Chapel Hill community. A group of 11 local students gathered at the former Chapel Hill Museum Tuesday evening for the third meeting of Unified Theater. The program is designed to give kids with and without disabilities a time to shine. These 3 Carolina students you see here act as student leaders to the 8 middle and high school students involved. The group will put on a musical for the community, promoting unity on April 15th. And even though Valentine's Day is less than 2 weeks away, we've got that story for you in just a minute.
Just a moment, folks. Some UNC students are involved in a cause that should be important to most college students, and that's literacy. Members of the Dialectic and Philanthropic Societies met Monday to kick off National Literacy Action Week. Di-Phi debated the issue of holding students back in school on their reading level. The Joint Senate took both sides, some in support of holding students back and some who believe students should move on to follow their peers. The group decided ultimately that holding back students who can't read at their grade level is the better choice.
Now let's get back to that Valentine's Day story. It's just less than 2 weeks away, but there's still time for you to send love to our men and women serving in the armed forces. UPS stores across the country, 2 here, in fact, in Chapel Hill, are choosing to take part in Operation SWAC. That's sealed with a kiss. From now until Valentine's Day, you can send troops Valentine's Day cards and letters, and UPS will pay for the postage. You can send letters to troops stationed overseas, or you can send your cards to veterans in Virginia hospitals.
Any of us can send a little sunshine to one of the troops, but this is one day, today, that we don't want to see any sunshine. That's because today is Groundhog Day, and unfortunately, Sir Walter Wally saw his shadow in Raleigh. That means 6 more weeks of winter, and there are lots of reasons to hope spring will get here soon.
I'm growing a lot, so I really wanted spring to come because my pants don't fit me anymore.
After the announcement about Wally's shadow, kids whose pants seemed to fit a little bit better lined up to meet the 10-month-old groundhog. They showed him some love despite his prediction for more cold weather. Well, you know, it doesn't really feel that cold out there right now.
Yeah, but we've had that huge snowstorm up in the Northeast. What's going on with that? More cooler temperatures ahead?
Yeah, Eddie and Andrea, that snowstorm in the Northeast has just been slamming areas in New York and Pennsylvania, but we were on the southern side of that system, and so that meant warm temperatures for us. You can see students out across campus today celebrating in the warmth of 70 degrees. Stay with us. Carolina Week will be right back.
You ever think about buying a bigger place?
Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad
One more
today.
time. All those boys are much too much. Those boys.
¿Cuáles son los números que importan?
All right, welcome back to Carolina Week, everybody. I'm Drew Day. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's go ahead and take a look at those weather headlines. And as we take a look at those, it was definitely a warm day today after a cold front pushed through across the area. We had an area of showers move into the region early this morning, and we also anticipate some weekend showers. There just is a small chance of that, and so we'll discuss all this coming up throughout the next few minutes. Taking a look at the satellite imagery right now across North Carolina, you can see just this small area of clouds that's over central North Carolina. That is in association with the actual cold front that's pushing through the area. This area of clouds was in association with the rain this morning, and so with that cold front pushing through the area, that means colder air will be filtering into the region, and so we can say goodbye to these 70 degrees. Taking a look at a few rainfall amounts across the area, you can see the mountains were the real winners in this, with Asheville at 1.28 inches of rain and Charlotte at 0.68 of an inch. But once that system moved into our area, it really just fell apart. And so here across the triangle, we only saw 0.14 of an inch and even lighter amounts along the coast. As we take a look right now at the surface map, again, you can see there's the cold front, and it's just now clearing the area, so cooler air will be filtering into the region, so that means we'll only be seeing highs in the 40s. Taking a look at tomorrow's surface map, you can see this area of rain just to our southwest, and that will just kind of be meandering to our south. We'll have this high pressure system, and that'll really be blocking this rain from moving into our region, and so just the southern part of North Carolina could see a few showers. Taking a look at Friday's surface map, it's more of the same, with again just the small chance of showers once again in the southern part of the state. So overnight tonight, we'll expect to see temperatures in the lower 30s with partly cloudy skies, and there will be a slight breeze out there, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies, winds again 5 to 10, so it'll be a slight breeze out there, but not as windy as what we saw today, a high right around 45. And taking a look at your day part forecast, breaking it down to a few notable timestamps here. By 8 a.m. as you're heading to work or school, you expect about 30 degrees, so make sure you take a jacket with you. And then by lunchtime, right around 40 degrees, we'll see those clouds increasing throughout the day, and then by 8 p.m. we expect to see right around 38 degrees. So as we take a look at your 5-day forecast, you can see that by Thursday we'll see 45 for tomorrow, and then as we head into the weekend, we'll see 42 for Friday, 50 for Saturday, but the sunshine returns as we head into next week.
All right, Drew, well, it was nice while it lasted, the warm weather. It's going to get cooler, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Always good news knowing we have a little bit of sunshine coming up next week. Thanks, Drew.
All right.
All right. Organizers of a local art center are letting you become part of the exhibit. The Ackland Art Museum is hosting yoga in the galleries, a series of yoga classes held inside the museum. Participants go through relaxing breathing techniques to connect the earth with the mind, body, and spirit, while surrounding artwork inspires movement and poses. Each class is free for members, and there's only a small fee for the general public. Yoga in the galleries will continue through March 22nd. And we have sportscaster Andy Reeves joining us live here in the studio.
Andy, big game last night for Carolina basketball, and today's football signing day. A lot of things going on in sports.
Yeah, you know, great game by the Tar Heels last night up in Chestnut Hill, and even better news for the football team today with National Signing Day. And coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the future of Carolina football.
Bombs make you grow up smart and successful so you can be a doctor, lawyer, handsome genius composer. Like me.
Feed your kids the arts. Visit AmericansForTheArts.org. Treat your family to Van Gogurt, packed with live and active culture to boost kids' math and reading skills.
It's sure to satisfy your hunger for inspiration.
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
So, April, yeah? You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Andy Reeves. Today is college football's National Signing Day, which means the 2011 football season is officially underway. And from the look of things, Coach Butch Davis and the Tar Heels are off to a pretty good start. Today, 25 players joined the team, and there's definitely a lot of talent in that group. 2 players are considered 5-star recruits by Scout.com, and 5 are considered 4-star. This makes the 17th ranked class in the country. Coach Butch Davis has now brought in a top 25 class in 4 of his first 5 years here at UNC. Justin Page joins us live in the studio. Justin, what was Coach Butch Davis trying to accomplish with this class?
Well, Andy, today Coach Davis said he didn't focus as much on recruiting based on need, but more so on recruiting a well-rounded class. He actually was able to snag players at nearly every position.
Well, who are some of the marquee players in this class?
Definitely quite a few. The first name Carolina fans bring up is 5-star defensive tackle Delvon Simmons from Pennsylvania. There you see him right there. Simmons is rated as the 3rd best defensive tackle in the country and was a pleasant surprise for the Heels today. 2 weeks ago, Simmons actually took UNC off the list and never made an official visit to campus, but he surprised everyone today when he picked Carolina over both Oregon and USC. Some very good programs right there. Meanwhile, on the offensive line, the Heels were also able to get 5-star tackle Kearo Holtz from Indianapolis, Indiana. The Heels actually wrapped him up quite a while back. There you see Delvon Simmons. Getting back to Kearo Holtz, the Heels wrapped him up a while back, and he signed his letter of intent today. So good to see him coming through on his word. And finally, at quarterback, there's Marquise Williams from Mallard Creek High School over in Charlotte. Andy, if you've ever seen this guy play, he's a threat on the ground and through the air.
Well, so there's a lot to like with this class. Obviously, no John Blake, but a pretty nice job by recruiting coordinator Alan Mortgage. And, you know, the big question is, how did the investigation affect recruiting? And we had a chance to ask Butch Davis that very question today.
We tried to do as a coaching staff and as a university was to focus on all the positive things. University of North Carolina is a great institution to come and to get a great education, to play on some great football teams.
Another signing day in the books. A lot of good players coming to UNC. Quite a success
for Butch Davis and his staff.
Sounds like it. Thank you, Justin. That's Justin Page live in the studio. After a big win against Boston College last night, the men's basketball team is tied for first in the conference with Duke. We pick up last night's action with Reggie Bullock. He came off the bench and hit 4 threes, notching 16 points. The Heels put together a strong defensive effort as well. Watch Zellers, he gets the steal, passes ahead to Henson, who's right there with the jam. But the star of the night was Harrison Barnes, setting another career high for the second consecutive game with 26 points. He hit 4 threes as well. UNC shot 52% behind the arc. Leslie McDonald, watch him right there hitting the jumper, put the Heels over the 100-point mark. It's been 28 games since Carolina hit the biscuit standard in ACC play. The men's basketball team isn't the only one on a roll. After a win against Virginia Tech, the women's team begins a brutal 2-week part of the ACC schedule. The number 15 Heels will start in Tallahassee tonight. They have a big ACC matchup against number 19 Florida State. If the ladies pull out a win over the Seminoles, they'll improve their conference record to 6-2, which will be crucial going into Monday night's matchup against rival Duke here in Chapel Hill. The Devils are ranked 3rd in the country. A group of UNC athletes might still be recovering from the face full of opposition they faced last night. 15 varsity athletes represented their teams and sat down to put away half a pound of spaghetti without using their hands. Athletes in Action and Champions for Christ hosted the event. Whether in amazement, excitement, more than 50 athletes came out to cheer on their teammates. After winning the women's competition, Logan Folks of the softball team challenged the men's champion wrestler Ben Brooks to a showdown finale. Folks had room for seconds, but Brooks gutted out the victory.
That looked a little crazy. I don't know if I could handle that much eating all at one time, especially without my hands.
That was some hard video to watch, definitely.
Great. Andy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. Well, Eddie, I've heard you have some guitar skills. Is it air guitar? Or?
You know, you don't really want to see me play the real guitar. Not pretty. But I'm not even close to these people we're going to show you coming up next, who are true guitar heroes.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Move over, Jimi Hendrix. You have some new competition.
These people are expert guitarists and don't even need instruments. Jennifer Kessinger explains.
When Oscar De La Satan walked into Girard Hall last night, he was ready to rock. But he didn't bring an instrument with him. De La Satan competed in the Carolina Union Activities Board's 4th annual air guitar competition, where contestants could show off their prowess on the invisible instrument. Some even took the time to tune their mighty axes before performing. Only a few contestants signed up prior to the competition, but wildcards were welcome to enter during the show. MC Bjorn to Rock encouraged audience members to try their hands at air guitar. So I took to the stage myself to perform the Kiss classic, Rock and Roll All Night. After the first round, contestant Dr. Fingers gave me some sound advice for channeling my inner rock star.
If you like a song, look it up on YouTube. Try to find someone that plays it. Aside from that, just have fun, cut loose.
5 contestants made it to the second round, including De La Satan and Dr. Fingers. All 5 performed their rendition of the Pat Benatar hit, Heartbreaker. In the end, De La Satan emerged victorious and impressed the judges with his onstage antics. And even though he won, he didn't agree with the judges' decision.
They were all better than me, and I think that the judges made a mistake.
Even if his victory was a fluke, perhaps this self-proclaimed future homeless rocker can still revel in being a champion air guitarist. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Kessinger, Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching Carolina Week.
Have a good night.